Welcome back to the Broncast, a podcast all about the Ford Bronco. I'm John Melton.
And I'm Donnie Whiteman.
You look at that camera. This is my camera.
Camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two.
Today is going to be a fun episode. We just got back from SEMA, and Donnie made a video that he thought he was showing some of the best Broncos at SEMA, and obviously he's wrong. Making a recap of our SEMA experience. Mine was a little bit different than yours. Video production's my full-time job, and one of my clients is Onyx Off-Road, and so we've been shooting this Onyx Off-Road Build Challenge series. Basically, 7 people made these pretty cool off-road builds, and we actually filmed the competition of them like bringing their built vehicles to this competition and then finally ending in SEMA. There's a cool Land Rover Series 3. There was a Jaguar. We talked about this on the podcast a while ago, like a Jaguar where they put it on top of a like 12-valve Cummins truck, put a big like boom crane in the back. That one was actually one of my favorites because we talked about it, like putting a car on a truck frame never turns out well. And they did it really well. They did it like more of a Mad Max kind of theme. And then there was like a bread van that they turned into an off-roader, a Mini Cooper that they made like a buggy, old Jeep Willys wagon, and Jeep Liberty that they turned into a pretty cool off-roader.
Did they have to do anything with them?
Yeah, like so
at SEMA?
Not at SEMA. Like at SEMA, it was just kind of, they brought them and they just showed them and people could vote on which one was their favorite. Before that, like first we went to the Tucson drag strip and they like went head to head against each other. But these are off-road vehicles, like 40-inch tires, 125, 75 horsepower, like not powerful, but there was a 5th gen Bronco there. It was this guy, Kevin Jones. He has raced in Ultra 4, raced King of the Hammers. He shows up. He was the wild card. So like he's not a YouTuber. He has a YouTube channel where you can actually see his build, but he's not like a big time YouTuber like most of the people there. But he shows up in this Bronco and I'm like, oh, this thing is sick. And it was diesel. So he swapped it with a 7.3 Power Stroke. Solid axle swapped the front end with I think it was a Dana 60. Used the Power Stroke rear end. He did a great job on the Bronco. Definitely cool to check his channel out. I think it's Ultra 4 Jones.
I like
his channel.
that he put a Ford in a Ford.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. He did it well. Like, and it performed. Like, he won the drag strip competition. He won, there's a little off-road obstacle course. He won that. But yeah, like he had a bunch of wild horses stuff on there and like really cool build and custom suspension and all that. We ended the whole thing and announced the winner at SEMA. So literally I flew into SEMA on Friday, went to the West Hall, filmed the competition ending, and then got back on a plane and flew back to Nashville.
I know we were both there and didn't see each other.
No, like it was the quickest SEMA trip that I had ever had and quickest Las Vegas trip that I ever had, which I appreciated.
Yeah, and the quickest way from West Hall to South Hall, which did you know it's like a mile and a half?
Yeah. Oh, it is
to take the
huge. Yeah, for people who don't know, we're talking about SEMA. SEMA is the largest car show in America or in the world probably. And it used to be the largest like convention. I think it's beat now by
the Consumer Electronics Show, I think.
CES. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this thing, how many cars would you say, just all cars, how many cars would you say are at SEMA?
Thousands, like 5,000-6,000 on display and 65,000 people.
And each of those cars are easily worth 300,000+.
That would probably be an average.
You're talking buco bucks, like so much money at this show. And it's like, I always look forward to hearing what the Ring brothers are going to bring. This year they brought a Blazer.
Yeah, I saw it.
It was beautiful. I didn't see it in person. How was it in person? Did you see it in person?
It was incredible. It's like $1 million build for them, only they did a Blazer this time. The entire grill was custom designed in CNC. It was like 3D printed. I mean, the whole truck was CNC. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
They have everything. It's not just old classic cars. It's new cars. It's Lamborghinis and, all the like McLarens and supercars and everything in between. It's super cool.
So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings and floors that are each as big as a football field.
Easily.
And for me, the show is about the builders. I go to see what the Ring brothers did. I have about 6 builders I follow, and you can go and find their car and see what they built. It's just incredible. Some of them are hot rods. Some of them are trucks. If you like diesels, or you like gas burners, or if you like electric cars, oh my gosh, don't ask me about cyber trucks.
Oh, yeah. Was there a lot?
I stopped counting at 30 and I was getting nauseous. So there were 9 in a row in one booth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how insane SEMA is. But for me, it's about the builders. I like to go and see what my top 5 favorite builders have.
What would you say is like was your favorite non-Bronco related build?
Actually, one of my favorite builds at the show was in the tire and wheel hall. And it's a car that was at a SEMA show in the 50s, and it's called the Golden Sahara. It had white tires with LEDs inside, so the tires were glowing and changing colors. So they took this 50s car that was lost for years, brought it back, and then had it in the show. I think the thing a lot of people don't know about SEMA is it's not just about manufacturers and builders. There are these competitions that are going on.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be a young gun, that's one of the things that you can group in. You can be Battle of the Builders, but there's this bigger thing going on, and it's a competition. They're picking the best custom build. Speaking of that, I actually ran into Kesha Foles.
Oh, yeah.
Our buddy, you had a great episode with her.
Yeah, man. 5 years ago now. She rolled up at Super Celebration in this pink, purple, fuchsia, whatever you call it, Bronco. Built it all herself and worked on it all herself.
She was at SEMA. So I got this great interview with her. I'm out here at SEMA and I ran into our friend Kesha Folds and her 73 Bronco. Did you repaint it?
I sure did about a month ago.
Oh, looks amazing. It really pops. What do you call the color?
It's hot pink pearl.
I also noticed you made a few other little changes, like her wheels.
Well, I just so happened to make a friend with somebody who had these. They're super rare from the 70s, so super hard to find. I actually had to have another friend redo them because there was a bunch of pitting in them. So he actually cut out the whole center and put it in a new ring.
Well, what do you call the heart-shaped wheels?
From what I've gathered is there was some sort of partnership with Hooker Headers way back in the 70s. They were on Sandbox Edition F-150s.
You basically restored the whole truck again, almost?
Pretty much, yeah.
I saw videos of you every week just sanding and sanding.
Yeah, I had to go back. I mean, when I did it when I was 18, I'm 29 now. I didn't know what I was doing back then. Still don't really, but I have a better idea. My bodywork was failing, the clear coat. I didn't paint it the first time. The clear coat was coming up, I had rust coming back. So I went back, fixed my bodywork, fixed the rust that was on it, and I got to paint it myself. So this is my first paint job.
So you entered a competition?
Yep, I'm in the Young Guns Battle of the Builders. So if you're 29 and younger and you've done all the work to build your vehicle, you can compete in that category of the Battle of the Builders competition here. What's special about the 29 and younger, other than being the age, is that you were supposed to have done all of the work yourself on it. Show that somebody young coming up in the industry what they can do.
And this isn't like her first Bronco. It's her first Bronco done I don't know how many times, but you've been at Supercell every year with it.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
I've been to actually all 4 Supercells now.
She's going to be there with her new paint and her new shiny paint. It's awesome.
Kudos to Kesha. I think that's a great build. The truck always looked it just stood out. And now I feel like she just kind of took it up a level and it stands out even more. How can you go wrong with a pink Bronco? Not my cup of tea, but pretty cool that she did that. And yeah, the paint just looked amazing. And you're right, the wheels and tires, like that's a great combo. Looks really good on the early Bronco, and yeah, she did a great job.
So now it's Pink Pearl.
Pink Pearl.
Yeah, it's even better.
Donnie made a video just about some of the best Broncos that he saw at SEMA. I didn't get to walk around the show, but I did watch your video.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I got to support the broadcast. Get those views up somehow. Some of your choices were interesting to me.
I know what you hesitated. I know what that means.
So you talked about Kesha's Bronco and then the zebra Bronco.
Yeah.
It's a Raptor, right?
Yeah, it was in the Maxxis booth.
In the Maxxis booth. I think that's a horrible rap.
You wouldn't drive that.
I'd
drive that.
Obviously, to each his own. It's a wrap. It's a choice. And they chose it. I think a Raptor is pretty sweet, and I don't think you need a big old wrap on it. What I liked about it was everything blended together. Because the worst part about the Raptor is the huge fender flares that don't match. They're black and they just whatever color. So I do appreciate that. That's probably why I just like black Raptors, is because it hides the fender flares a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're just so hideous. Okay, and then we got to talk about this real quick. The door inserts. What? So when Ford put these out, when the original marketing video for the Bronco came out, I was like, that is a terrible design.
I think they didn't sell. They were super expensive too.
I don't know did Ford ever come out with these? I don't think they released them. I feel like someone else is making them.
They were on their program.
Was it really?
For, I think, a short period.
Yeah, and they were just too expensive. We're talking about the little cutout in the door on the new Bronco. You lose a window. There's no glass now to roll up and down. Totally impractical. I get it that it's a trail door. That's cool to have it as a trail door. But I'm like...
Just stick your foot through there, John. So it's a leg cooler.
It is a leg cooler. And then the one on the 4-door, though, so that is the Anderson Composites. I wonder if they're making them. Again, it's a choice to go with that.
Not your choice.
Just not my choice. When they came out, I think I was on the bandwagon and I was like, oh, that would be so cool to have. But the more I thought about it and looked at it, I'm like, that's so impractical. Your phone's going to fall out when you're going on the trail. If you have it, it's like
your junk.
Yeah.
It's going to fall out.
Yeah. You can't put a cup in the door anymore. You've lost all your, I'm being first world problems here on this. I would probably just take my doors off rather than ride with that. I'm picking on your video here. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, I see that.
I do really like this Delanite tires Bronco. Even with the Heritage Broncos, there's not a lot of Broncos that you see that look classic. The new 6th gen Bronco. I even feel like the Heritage Bronco doesn't quite look classic enough for me. It still just looks like a new Bronco. It had the fender flares that matched the classic look. It had a really nice bumper. I didn't care for the wheels.
The wheels I loved?
You loved them.
I fawned over those wheels.
But we disagree on wheels all the time. You are a chrome and blingy wheel guy. I have black matte wheels on my Bronco. I just don't like blingy wheels. I like big wheels. I don't mind a 20-inch rim. Yeah, I don't love the chrome look nearly as much. Okay, here's a vote. Give us a little shout out in the comments. Who are you more like? You like the chrome blingy wheels, or are you on the matte? Honestly, I'm thinking of getting bronze wheels for my Bronco. I just think the green and the bronze would go really.
Oh, that would be cool.
If you could chrome everything in the engine bay, you would.
Probably.
So we're going to look through a few of these videos that Donnie got at SEMA, and I'm going to give you my favorite pick at the end of this video. Donnie had a different idea. You can watch his video to find out his favorite pick. Stick around if you want to find out my pick from SEMA. Before we keep going in this video, you actually got to talk to someone at Ford at the SEMA show.
I was in the Ford Performance booth and met with Kyle Sargent. He's a product manager, and he developed all these terrific new parts with the entire Ford team. And he showed me some new features and saved the coolest one for the end. I'm in the Ford Performance Parts and Accessory booth, and this is Kyle Sargent. He is a product manager for Bronco and off-road accessories.
Right. Yep, essentially the entire Ford Performance catalog. There's a couple of product planner experts that are responsible for Mustang, F-150, all the different platforms. And I come from working on Bronco. So a lot of the parts on this vehicle are all in the catalog from, you know, what I've worked on launching, and a lot of what we've had in the catalog is what we've paired together on a vehicle basis in like a curated package, so to speak. So what you're looking at here is our Sinister Bronze Bronco package, which is really available now in our first ever Ford Custom Garage package. So you could get this through a Ford dealer today. And the concept essentially is taking a low series Bronco, small tire Bronco, Big Bend, for example, adding our 2-inch lift kit, which we'll show you on the wall. It's through Bill Stein. They're a 6812 kit with our unique suspension tune, raising to a Sasquatch height, adding a Sasquatch tire, and a unique wheel that we actually developed ourselves that's not available through the production plant, along with some kind of matching bronze front badging, but really just a bronze edition, if you will. That's not available through the plant, but through a Ford Custom Garage. A good fun one is the Wild Fun, which I know you guys are all super familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so we partnered this year at SEMA for a concept vehicle that's partnering with the Wild Fun to offer a Wild Fun series. So if you were to look at kind of the series badge where Big Bend, Outer Banks would be, it's Wild Fun Edition, where you're gonna get yet again a built from vehicle like a Big Bend or a base, put on a 2-inch lift kit, another unique wheel that was offered not again in production at all. So can't get it through Michigan Assembly Plant, only through the catalog. Unique green finish. We need a good name for the color, so if you guys got a good name suggestion, we're looking for one. We had some unique cat skin seats on this with the Wild Fun logos, etc. Power soft top, which is actually one of the first times we've shown power soft top, and we could do a quick retract if you guys are interested.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see that.
Absolutely. And then there's some content on here that's standard to a package, which would be like the wheels, the lift kit, black lug nuts, badging, stripes, and then there's some optional stuff, which would be like the tube doors, right? The power soft top, so it keeps it bare bones content from a price perspective, and then enables you to really kind of add content a la carte after you get the base package.
I also noticed you kind of did a throwback, an homage to the old fiberglass flare by having the bolts on the outside.
Right, yeah.
And they're a little smaller. That's cool.
Funny enough, they named them the retro flares. So
yeah,
we use cat skins on the seats, and then it's not shown here, but we'll have an interior badge. It'll say Wild Fund. You know, you'll be able to support, you know, all these great proceeds here on the Wild Fun Partnership brand.
And you said they plant a tree.
Yep, for every Bronco sold, they're planting a tree, right? So this will follow the same format in terms of a package, right? So we'll donate a portion of every package sale to the same Wild Fun program that'll support Sons of Smokey, Tread Lightly, all those great guys out there.
The electric top, does it fold all the way back?
All the way back.
And it's push of a button, goes back, all on its own.
2 latches, hit the button.
Okay.
And then when it comes all the way forward, the 2 latches tighten everything up.
I'm glad that Ford is continuing to come out with new stuff. I'm glad that they're making new stuff, and stick around, you know, in a couple weeks, we're going to have an episode all just about the 2025 Ford Bronco. That should have come out when the Bronco was released.
Well, so it's at Ford Performance, and the way I understand is it will retrofit.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Is there a button like on the dash though? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. So the way I understand it, it was designed in partnership with an aftermarket company. I believe Best Top is doing this.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They make it so you can put it on your Bronco.
We should do an install with that. Get one, put it on, see how hard it is to install. Because I feel like that's the thing that people want. All right, so what do you guys think? Should we do an install video showing you how to retrofit your classic manual soft top? First world problems, right?
Yeah.
Manual soft top to electric soft top. Let us know. All right, so moving on, in your video, the best Broncos at SEMA, we come up to the Wimbledon white Bronco. Now you're building
you're
a
not
Wimbledon
done?
white. No, I'm going to keep picking on you. You're building a Wimbledon white. So were you getting inspiration from this?
This actually was really cool because this white Bronco was done at the SEMA level, you know, and had Pure on the front instead of Ford, which was kind of cool.
That is cool, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to guess that was a $350,000 custom build, as if it were a Corvette or whatever you build at SEMA, Camaro. Yeah. I mean, full custom, like top level builders.
Kinser chassis was under it. I forget all the levels of Kinser, but it wasn't IFS or anything like that, right?
No, it was actually I think it's either a freeway series or a highway series, but it's designed to cruise down the highway. You know, they have their off-road chassis and then they have their highway series chassis. Right. I'm sure that thing does 80 miles an hour with 2 fingers on the steering wheel.
You mentioned the roof rack. It fits the body so well. And it's funny seeing a roof rack that it didn't feel bulky, like it felt classic. We know there's no real classic roof racks. And so you said that one was custom, right?
Yeah. It has this big shape where you could put all kinds of luggage. It had these 2 pieces of luggage on top that were white leather. Like the whole interior was Wimbledon white leather. It was super cool. And then it had white oak. Oh, the whole truck had like white oak as trim. It was really nice, like chrome roll cage.
Yeah, not my favorite. That's the only thing I would change. I would have painted that. Now, the undercoating on this truck, did you look under it?
I did not get underneath this truck.
Oh, you should have, because I'm sure they didn't have red oxide like yours.
The guy that built this truck actually was wearing complete Wimbledon white shoes.
Really?
And he was all Wimbledon out.
Oh, man. It probably is Wimbledon white under there. Like, being a SEMA build, like, I'm sure that's one of the things that they did. But I still think you doing the red oxide under your Wimbledon white is the cool way to go for sure. All right, moving on. We come to what booth was the orange Bronco in?
It's called Alchemy was the company.
You talk about this company. What is their kind of MO? What do they do?
Well, it had a Godzilla in it. They widened it 14 inches. You know, it had coilovers on it. And they start at $387,000 for a 2-door. They have the 4-door that Dennis Carpenter makes.
Okay,
which was $429 or something like that.
Wow.
And they had a truck that was more money than that.
Godzilla in an early Bronco, super cool. Kudos for them for having it at SEMA and like rolling with it. What is up with those fenders? Like
it's 14 inches wider.
What axle is that? Did they say what axle it was? Like, why is it 14 inches wider?
If you're wider, you're going to be less tippy, but I really don't see going off road with that because you don't want to flip big Oli, right?
I feel like it changes the look of the Bronco so much. I think like a desert runner, what is it called? Pre-runner.
Yeah.
I think those fenders are super cool. But on a Bronco, to me, like, I just don't feel like it. I don't know. I just think it changes the look too much. And going that wide, it makes my brain go, huh? All right, moving on.
All of these trucks that we have in the video got me even more fired up. I've been trying to get to SEMA as a builder, and I had to really have an entire build fleshed out. And I'm at that point now. You know, I had that Gen 6, the 22 Sasquatch, and absolutely loved daily driving that truck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was amazing.
I got to drive it, and it was awesome.
And then, we're building all these old Broncos here, and I get in them, and I'm fixing all these Broncos. I'm really trying to make them better. And I did have a customer that came into the shop, and she had said, so that Bronco you built's going to be way better than my husband's Bronco. And I go, no, this will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, so the $250,000 Broncos, those drive way better. And I go, no, it's pretty much the same.
It's still a classic
Bronco. Why are they
Bronco?
$250,000? And it led me to this idea. We are taking the body off of my Bronco and we're building a SEMA truck. And now we've made our vintage Broncos, the steel bodies that we build, fit right on top of it. So inside the Bronco and outside the Bronco, it looks just like an early Bronco.
What?
But you're driving a Gen 6. So we're literally, you want to know how we're doing it?
Wait, okay. So you're taking everything off of your Bronco, leaving the chassis, axles,
wiring harness, everything, steering column.
Really?
Yeah.
and then just dropping does the classic body just drop on, or is there?
No. So the first one was a 4-door. I drove up to Michigan and I bought a chassis, a Gen 6 chassis, and we cut 23 inches out of.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So what is that? 116 to, what was that? 92?
Yeah. So we cut it down to 92 inches. And
93, yeah.
Yeah, right in there. Yeah, we actually made it a little bit longer. And
Nice.
And now we're doing mine, and mine's a 2-door, so we're going to cut about 9 inches out.
Okay.
And then we put it back together with the right drive shaft in the rear, and it's crazy cool how it all worked out. So it all fits in the engine bay, and
What? That's crazy.
so the solution is, you can have a brand new Bronco. So we're now building mine, another one, and 2 more.
Really?
So the idea, apparently, that's what people want.
That makes sense. Like, looks like an early Bronco, drives like a new Bronco. Like,
so I say it's the best of both worlds.
And I know you purists out there are going, no, it isn't great because you got the IFS up front. But in all honesty, for a high-end build, you're never going to take that thing on a trail that, is going to potentially get you any sort of body damage. So who cares if you have IFS up front? Who cares, who cares if it's a solid axle? Like, you're going to drive it on the highway most 90%, 100% of the time.
So the cool thing is, it'll do everything your new Bronco does. It actually weighs a little bit less as a result. So you can have that classic look and styling, and you could stop at a Ford dealer if you needed anything or wanted.
Who wants one of Donnie's Broncos now?
So here's the really cool part. We'll actually have 1 or 2 of these at Supercell.
Oh, nice.
And you can drive it.
Oh,
so
that's amazing.
One of the true trucks. So here's the really cool thing is we're going to make a whole video series on this. It's called The Trail to SEMA.
Okay.
And I'll be posting every week on the progress of the truck.
Nice.
And some of it will be time lapse. And my favorite thing is like we'll film it at Supercell where you can drive it. And then we're going to go all the way to SEMA. So that one's actually going to paint in the end of December.
Wow.
So we had to modify some things, but I'm super excited about it.
Well, definitely keep us in the loop on how that process goes, because I have a lot of questions on how everything will work together. So just out of curiosity, would you guys buy that Bronco? I think I would. Like, I think that would be pretty amazing. How can people follow along? How can people keep up to date?
Well, I'm going to post like the weekly updates on how they're being built all the way to SEMA. We're going to make a compilation video, but I'm going to do it on Instagram on Dreamweaver Donnie.
Excited to see what happens with that. Couple more Broncos here at SEMA that you saw and you looked at. Obviously, we got the Olympic beer. Olympia beer, big Oli kind of themed build. Such a classic kind of look and feel on the Gen 6. I thought that was a super cool build. And then this guy, the Orange Crush Bronco. And this is our good friend.
Well, actually, the story behind this truck, so this is in the Rhino Rack booth.
Yep.
Of course, I like the wheels because they're shiny.
Yeah, they're all blingy.
The story on this truck, the builder came up to me while we were filming this afterwards, and he said, "You know why this says Bronco Driver Magazine all over it, don't you?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "I won this 15 years ago at Supercell because Tom Broberger..."
We've had Tom on the podcast before. If you don't know, Tom is the owner of Bronco Driver and puts on the Super Celebration. So, but yeah, this used to be his Bronco. Well, this used to always be in Bronco Driver Magazine. Like, I mean, because Tom would do tech articles with it. He nicknamed it Orange Crush. He would always do, articles in the magazine with it. And so, like, I remember seeing it all the time in the magazine and, seeing the stuff that he would do to it and all that kind of stuff. So,
and I didn't know that when I picked it.
Yeah.
He came up afterwards and explained it to me.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it had like dual shocks and it was just kind of like a period correct build.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to know what your favorite was.
I got to go with the Wimbledon White Bronco as my favorite from from what we've seen. Has
so many people commented and they picked the white one.
I know. I mean, it's just such a great build. I like the center console of it. The only thing I would change is that chrome roll bar.
You take a little chrome off. It's a little too much for you.
Just a little too much for me. Yeah. But yeah, the thing was beautiful. Man, super cool SEMA show. I think it was one of the biggest SEMA shows that they've had. We'll definitely stay tuned. We're going to be doing an episode about the 2025 Ford Bronco coming up, and we'll also be doing an episode about Black Friday deals if you're looking for some first-gen parts for your Ford Bronco.